In 2019, WeWork had a valuation of $47 billion. This wasn't just another boring company. It was a global phenomenon, here to change the way we work forever. And leading the charge was Adam Neumann, a super charismatic leader, promising community, culture, and a whole new way to live. But then, in just a few weeks, the whole thing came crashing down in one of the most insane corporate failures of all time. The IPO was canceled, Neumann was kicked out, and that $47 billion valuation disappeared, literally, overnight. So, how did a company with this much hype, this much cash, and a leader this convincing implode so spectacularly? This is the story of the WeWork collapse, a true masterclass in failure. It all started in 2010 with a super simple but powerful idea. Two guys, Adam Neumann and Miguel McKelvey, saw that tons of freelancers and small companies were sick of working in coffee shops or being stuck in soul-crushing office leases. Their solution? Build awesome, flexible workspaces where people could not only get work done, but also connect and be part of something huge. And it exploded. WeWork tapped into a massive demand that no one else was paying attention to. By 2014, Forbes called it the fastest-growing lessee of office space in New York. And by 2019, it hit that insane $47 billion valuation after getting billions from investors, especially SoftBank, who were completely obsessed with Neumann. Neumann wasn't just selling office space. He was selling a dream. He talked about elevating the world's consciousness and changed the company's name to the We Company, with plans to get into housing, schools, everything. He was an expert storyteller, and investors believed they weren't just funding a real estate company, but the future. The culture was wild. Free beer on tap, insane parties, and a cult-like vibe was what WeWork was all about. From the outside, it looked like they could never be stopped. But underneath all that hype, the dream was turning into a total nightmare. There's one simple rule in business. You have to make more money than you spend. At WeWork, the numbers never added up. Their entire business model was a disaster waiting to happen. They signed super expensive, 15-year leases with landlords, and then rented the space out on super flexible, one-month contracts. This created a giant, dangerous gap between the money they owed and the money they might make. To hide this, WeWork just focused on growing at all costs. They opened new locations like crazy, giving away massive discounts and free rent just to get people in the door to make their numbers look good. The company was hemorrhaging money, but as long as investors kept writing checks, the party could keep going. And at the center of it all was Adam Neumann, whose total power led to absolute chaos. The company had no rules. Neumann took hundreds of millions in personal loans from WeWork, bought a luxury private jet with company money, and in the craziest move of all, he trademarked the word "we," then charged his own company almost $6 million to use it. He gave the money back after everyone freaked out, but the damage was done. The breaking point was in August 2019 when WeWork filed its IPO paperwork. This document was supposed to be their big moment. Instead, it was a complete horror show. For the first time, the entire world saw their unbelievable losses, almost $2 billion in 2018 alone. The paperwork exposed the broken business model, the shady deals, and Neumann's iron grip on the company. The reaction was immediate and vicious. Wall Street hated it. The media turned on them. Within weeks, the IPO was dead. The valuation crashed from $47 billion to under $8 billion, and Adam Neumann was fired as CEO. Thousands of employees, who were promised their stock would make them rich, were laid off with absolutely nothing. This is an absolutely unbelievable story of hype and ego. If you're finding this breakdown as wild as I do, take a second and smash that subscribe button. We dive into insane stories like this every single week to see what we can learn from the biggest corporate meltdowns in history. So, what really killed WeWork? It wasn't just one thing. It was the perfect storm of 4 massive failures. First, and this is the big one, business model was completely broken. A company with huge fixed costs and tiny, unpredictable revenue is built on sand. It's a simple cash flow problem that no amount of hype could ever fix. Second was the total failure of corporate governance. Neumann had way too much power and nobody to stop him. The board and the investors, especially SoftBank, totally failed. They were so hypnotized by his personality that they forgot to actually check the math. This is what happens when you let a cult of personality run a company. Third, their toxic growth at all costs. WeWork was obsessed with opening new locations, not making a profit. This strategy, paid for by endless investor cash, meant success was measured by how many new buildings they had, not whether any of them actually made money. When the cash ran out, the entire thing collapsed. And finally, you can't forget the asterisk venture capital hype machine. Investors got totally lost in the story that WeWork was a tech company, not a real estate company. They gave it a tech company valuation, completely ignoring the real-world costs of owning buildings. The final nail in the coffin was the global pandemic. A business built on packing people into shared offices was the worst possible business to be in, and when the world went remote, WeWork's already terrible situation became impossible. In November 2023, the company that was once the most valuable startup in America filed for bankruptcy. WeWork's collapse isn't just a crazy story. It's a masterclass, packed with lessons for literally anyone. For founders, Lesson 1, the numbers will always beat the vision. You can have the most amazing story in the world, but if you lose money on every single customer, you don't have a business, you have an incredibly expensive hobby. You need to know how you'll be profitable before you try to get huge. Lesson 2, founders must be held accountable. Charisma gets you the money, but only discipline builds a company that lasts. You need people around you who will tell you no, and a board that can actually fire you. For investors, the main lesson is rules aren't boring, their survival. Strong checks on a leader aren't just annoying paperwork. They are the guardrails that keep the company from driving straight off a cliff. And finally, always question the story. When a CEO is talking about changing the world, but the bank statements show a giant bonfire of cash, that is a massive red flag. The story is fun, but the numbers tell the real truth. So, where is WeWork today? In mid-2024, the company actually came out of bankruptcy. It erased $4 billion in debt, closed hundreds of locations, and is now a much smaller, leaner, and more realistic company. A new CEO is in charge, and he's not focused on changing the world. He's focused on building a stable business that actually makes money. The free beer has been replaced with coffee. As for Adam Neumann, after failing to buy back his old company, he's already moved on to a new real estate company called Flaw. WeWork's story isn't a comeback story. Not yet. But it is the ultimate warning for everyone in the startup world. It proves the dangers of choosing hype over substance, personality over process, and growth over profit. The need for flexible office space is real, and it's growing. But this company's journey proves that even the best idea can be completely destroyed by terrible execution and a massive ego. What do you think was the biggest reason WeWork collapsed? Was it the broken business model, the leadership, or the investor hype? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest stories in business. Thanks for watching.